wrestling, absolutely not.
Why are you gonna start wrestling because you turned it on?
Get out of here, boy. Come here.
No, he doesn't want to leave.
I just want his butt to not face the camera.
We are dog sitting a dog, and we have found that this dog randomly likes to start barking. So you'll probably hear that at some point during the video.
Well, it's not so random.
Well, okay, it's not random. But that actually is a good point. Point out the cues that are going to signal that she'll start barking.
So she has mild separation anxiety. So every time that somebody leaves, she'll bark. And and if, obviously, the very common one, if she hears a noise, she'll bark. If people come through the door, she'll bark. If anybody or a dog starts running, she'll bark.
Yeah. And so we kind of thought, here's an opportunity to train a dog that hasn't already been trained. So 2 things I want to address is that different people have different rules for barking. So for my own dog, I'm totally fine with her barking as long as she stops when I tell her to. And the reason why is once I live alone, I kind of want anyone outside the house to know I have a dog, but I don't want her to bark nonstop. Other people are like, absolutely not. So what kind of person do you think you are?
I can't focus right now with the dogs.
Thank you for the kisses, Rebel.
Okay, sit. Let's all calm down, Rebel.
Calm down.
Calm down. Yeah?
Betsy's a good child.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, what were you saying?
What kind of, bark rules do you have?
My bark rules is that I have this boy who is a good boy and doesn't bark.
I've decided to get the Australian Shepherd. Okay, she's technically a mini American Shepherd, but, yeah, so she's more of a barker. But I'm okay with that when I got the breed, so I knew that going in.
But, really, I'm fine with some barking as long as it's not constant. Like, they gotta stop when you tell them to stop.
Yeah. Do you hear Moxie now? That's the name of the dog. She got set off. So we are going to show how to kind of overcome that. So we're going to bring her into the room. I'm going to cue her to bark. And then Monica... And then Monica is going to stop. Kind of help redirect her in a way. So let's go get Moxie.
Moxie! Oh, I got the little chihuahua.
Isn't she cute?
Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah, a little overweight, but cute.
And River loves her too much.
A little too much.
Too much.
River's not invited to this party. Oh, Moxie! Moxie, come here! You're such a cute girl! Nope.
So the reason she's barking is because someone walked in. That's...
Come here. What cued the barking?
That's why she started up. Okay, Moxie. She's not gonna bark when I'm holding her, so that's one way to stop her. I wouldn't always suggest that.
Yeah, and that's not a fear thing. If the dog is afraid of being picked up, you don't want to be like, oh, you barked? Let me freak you out, type of a thing.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let her go.
And I might, do you want me to knock on the wall? Or do you want to wait for a natural trigger?
Just wait.
Okay. I figure we can maybe talk about, do you want to talk about, aggression barking? Not aggression.
We can talk about different kinds of barking.
Yeah, the different causes. So, the most common cause for Betsy, I'll say cues, is most people will say in her territory. I'd say intruding her space. And she thinks that our yard and the street outside of our yard is her space. And she's a fearful dog, so she's not getting mad necessarily, like, get off of my lawn. She's more like, what is that? I'm freaked out type of a thing. And so for her, because I'm okay with her barking a few times, I'll just tell her to stop. So if I'm in my right mind, I'll be like, Betsy, this will not do. That's 99% of the time what I say. She'll come to me, she gets a snack or whatever. And then sometimes I'll be like, Betsy, stop barking! If I'm in the middle of a Zoom appointment or something and I'm not thinking clearly. So I don't recommend that. I just want to be transparent with you guys. And so that works really well with her because she's so food motivated. And I know the common response to that is, aren't you rewarding her for barking? Yes and no. So what I'm rewarding for her directly is her coming to me and stopping barking. And the reason that works is because I'm okay with her barking in the first place. If I wasn't okay with her barking at all, what I would probably do is redirect her in some way. So I might purposely call her over when I see somebody walking by the window and have her look at them and reward her before she starts barking, which I also do because I don't want her to feel freaked out every time somebody walks by. But that's kind of the thing. You want to know the cues so that you can interrupt them before they happen. What's another type of barking? And or how would you handle this?
I would just add, because reactivity is something I'm very interested
Yes, reactivity
in.
is
Yeah,
the thing.
it's like my thing. That she kind of gets reinforced when she's barking.
Yes.
Because not only is barking, like, reinforcing in itself, but also when she barks at people and they go away, then she learns, hey, barking made the person go away. So then she continues to do that. So that's why we put up window film to stop that a little bit more, so that we can work on it through training sessions, so she's not just barking throughout the day.
Yeah. And a big part of that is I don't want her emotionally distressed.
Yeah.
And so what she used to do before the window film was up is, wow, she's being really good.
I know, she is.
So we put the window film up because before somebody would walk by the door and she would surge at the window and like scratch against it and be like,
yeah, she would just splat herself against the window.
And we don't want that.
Extreme.
And so we put the window film up so she can't see out there, so that we can kind of manage her fits of rage, if you will. And so the windows that are available are like literally buy a bag of treats. So we have a desk with treats on them and a window. So if she sees something, then there's a response that we can direct in that way.
And the other time she barks is out in the backyard. So
yes,
we put up covers,
like tarps.
Yeah, over the fences, because you could easily see through them because they're chain link. So that's helped a lot.
Yeah. So those are, what would you call that? I was about to say non-compatible behaviors, and that's not even close to what I was thinking. Management. So that's an example of management, where it's not active training. It's just something to lessen it, to sort of break the habit, because it's so instilled in them that you might need to adjust your house a little bit. You might need to get curtains or something.
It's kind of like if you're trying to quit smoking, like you wouldn't want to put yourself in a situation where there's like opportunities to do that. You know, or you're hanging out with people that also do it. It's because it's a habit you're trying to break. So the more,
or like if smoking is triggered by you being stressed by something, you might reduce the stress in your life.
Yeah.
Type of a thing. So find out what the triggers are and kind of cut
you want
them
to go
out.
to the root of the issue.
Yeah.
Typically.
So lots of people with barking, especially, they try to treat the barking without asking why the dog is barking, and we're more the latter camp of what's the underlying issue.
Yeah.
What about like happy barking? Is what some people call it. Have you heard that?
Like if they're playing?
Yeah.
I would be fine with that, honestly. Yeah, as long as they're not, I don't know, demand barking.
That's true. Demand barking's a whole other thing.
So that's like if they want to play and you're just sitting there and they're barking at your face because they're like, let's play! Or it's their mealtime and then they're barking at you.
Yeah.
I know Baron has that issue.
Yeah, demand barking. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what's your best solution to demand barking? Let's do Baron. So I'll say exactly what it is. Baron, when it's time for dinner, he's hungry. So he just starts barking over and over until he gets his dinner. And that's our mom's dog.
Yeah, the worst thing that you could do is just reinforce it. So if they bark, you give them the food or you give them their ball or whatever they're barking for, because that just reinforces that, hey, barking got me what I wanted. So you would want to beat them to it, and usually you'll know, like, hey, at this time of day my dog gets kind of crazy, and then you would go feed them or go play with them before they even get a chance to bark. So it's just about meeting their needs.
It is, and then you can also set up a new routine. So for Baron, for instance, we could say, when it's dinner time, before you ever eat, we X, Y, or Z. So I worked with somebody when I was in a group class, and what we had to do with their dog, because their dog was a puppy, it was in a pen, and so when it would see them approaching around dinner time, it would just start losing its mind. So we taught sit from a distance. This is going to sound stupid, probably to you, but we tried everything, so I'm including it. We did sit from a distance was what we taught. So we literally would say, sit, and they would stop, and when the dog stopped barking and sat, then they would approach again, and then the dog would start barking, and then we would sit and pause, and until the person was eventually there, and then the dog got their dinner. And eventually, when they got their dinner out, this took 2 weeks, maybe, then the dog, as soon as it heard, I can't remember if it was a container or if their food was in the garage like ours, but let's pretend it was a container. When they heard the container open, the dog from the other room would sit and wait, because it knew that was the only way to get the food, and it stopped the demand barking.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that you could do is teach place.
Yeah,
so
place is a good one.
Go to their bed. Just so they're not barking in your face, they're at least like over there.
Yeah.
It's less tempting to bark at you.
What we liked about the stop technique, or what I liked, you weren't there.
Yeah.
What I liked about the stop technique, it was a very clear consequence. So you bark, boom, the food is no longer getting closer, type of a thing. Versus as you bark, the food gets closer, they think the barking is causing the food to approach. So it was very clear stop when the barking is, and then go when the sit begins. So that was a good one for that.
Yeah. Typically, if your dog is barking a lot, they're probably bored.
That's true.
You
Demand
know?
barking.
Like if you leave them home alone for that many hours while you're at work, they're just gonna be barking. Like, you should have someone come over and play with them, take them on a walk, something like that, just to help.
Yeah. Should I make her bark, or do you want to keep talking about barking?
Let's see if she'll bark. She's being so good right now.
She's being so good. But, okay, what are some examples of meeting needs to avoid demand barking? What's some enrichment examples?
Like I said, like playing with them.
Yeah.
Just get out a toy.
Just burn the energy.
You could do training sessions.
Yeah. I honestly, maybe I've just missed them. I haven't seen actual peer-reviewed studies on this, but if you know of them, let me know so I can actually read them. But I've heard over and over that mental stimulation tires them out faster than, like, physical exercise. And I've seen that happen, so, like, I believe it, but I can't.
Yeah, so like, even a walk, if you're letting them sniff, that's mental enrichment for them. They're using their nose, and they can learn a lot of things just from using their nose, so that's really helpful. And if you're doing training, usually I like to sprinkle in, like, play or vice versa.
Yeah.
So, like, if you throw the ball and then you have them sit, different things like that. You have them wait, leave it.
Yeah.
Impulse control.
But guys, you don't even have to be that, like, complicated with it. Literally with their dinner, you can watch a Netflix show and just toss a treat to the other side of the room, and they'll go get the treat and come back.
Yeah.
And you can teach come that way while getting their energy out. Like, it doesn't have to take much energy from you if you've had a long day. So.
Yeah. Or if you're sick or whatever.
Yeah, if you're sick, that's a really good one to do. Obviously, that'll get boring to the dog eventually, but just don't, like, stress yourself out.
There's also, like, puzzle toys, but
puzzle toys are
I
good.
wouldn't overuse those. Some people just rely on those too much.
Yeah.
It's better to get your dog out of the house and just
definitely
take them to a new place, play at a park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a redirection?
Redirection is like...
No, for her. Like right now.
For her? She's not barking.
I'm about to make her bark.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna say her name.
Okay. Good girl!
Good girl! So
okay, so I'm totally... You can't see her. She's laying down now.
She's crawling.
So that usually makes her bark the sound of knocking.
She's crawling.
And so if your dog doesn't bark when you're training them like that, don't be like, oh, they didn't bark, let me knock louder. Capture that. Like, say, yes, good girl.
Yeah.
I'm glad she was barking earlier, because otherwise they'd be like, this dog doesn't bark, they're fake news, they're making it up. And so we're petting her.
Girl.
Because she likes to be pet. Some dogs don't care about being pet, in which case petting them will accomplish nothing. Like, Betsy would want a snack if she didn't bark.
If we bark louder, maybe Baron will also bark.
That's true. Baron might lose it. Okay.
Oh. Good girl, come here.
Yeah.
She got up.
And
she looked around like confused, but
I might tilt this a little bit so they can get. Oh, sorry, Mox.
Yeah.
She got a little.
Just gonna point it
I can't turn it.
this way.
I'm a dog trainer, not a cinematographer. I don't know what I'm doing.
Come here,
Can't
girl.
see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
She's very cute.
She likes. I don't know if she knows crawl, but she's doing it.
This is one of the biggest. Okay, getting her in this relaxed state before we introduced a trigger. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, if they're more relaxed, they're less likely to react to things.
Yeah. If we were like, with some, I say this, I want to caveat this.
Okay.
So I was going to say, if we were playing with her, she'd be more likely to bark. But some dogs, which she might actually be one of them, if you're playing with them, they're so focused on playing that they won't bark. But some dogs are just amped and become more likely to bark. So I don't want to say that for sure, but it might be the case. So depending on your dog, you could try like creating a calm space or creating a different place to put their energy place, depending on like their toy motivation. So
why don't you open the door and let
Yeah.
the dogs in and see if she'll bark at that. So she didn't bark.
she didn't bark, which is okay. We're just gonna not pet her for a minute and see if she'll get triggered, which isn't a recommendation. We just want to give you guys a realistic image of how to fix it. But in the meantime, let's talk about separation anxiety barking. So that's kind of behavior modification, so that falls under you.
For separation anxiety?
Yeah, separation anxiety.
Oh, man.
I know, right?
Ugh. It's a long road with separation anxiety.
It is. It's like if a human went to therapy for like codependency or something, it's not like the therapist could just be like, have you tried not being that way? And the person's
Yeah.
like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Like it takes actual time to adjust the inside of the dog. And while some people will just like put a bark collar on and say, okay, you barked, I'm gonna electrocute you or whatever. Or use static is the new, have you seen that on the boxes? That's the new thing, they'll say static. And that, even if the dog is quiet, and I've seen lots of dogs be on bark collars and not be quiet.
Yeah.
But even if they go quiet, what is that doing like internally? You know what I mean? Can you imagine what that dog must be feeling if it's already feeling separation anxiety and now it's like being hurt?
Yeah.
Or scared or stimulated or whatever. Like, you can't really deny the dog doesn't like whatever's happening, whether or not it's feeling pain.
Yeah, so this isn't a video on
Oh,
separation
yeah,
anxiety,
sorry.
so we're not going to go into all the details, but...
Just the barking side of it.
Yeah. I would say management techniques, so, like, if you can have someone stay with them that they're comfortable with.
Dog daycare.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really for dog daycare, but...
It depends on the
It
dog
depends
daycare.
on the dog,
Betsy used to
yeah.
go to one and it was great.
Yeah. If you do take them to dog daycare, it should be a small group.
Yes, a small group of dogs. You want to ask, like, what tools they're going to use on your dogs, ideally none.
Yeah.
So, we have different opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, it's hard with separation anxiety if you can't not leave the house. You know,
Yeah.
you just have to...
You have to leave the house.
Have to leave the house. What you could do is give them puzzle toys and stuff, but if they have real separation anxiety, that probably won't help much.
The biggest thing to do is you're probably gonna be at home for several hours at a time. And so what some people will do is they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna just leave the house for 2 minutes and then come back in and give the dog a treat for being quiet and go back and forth, increasing the time slowly. That's great. But what you want to implement is separate rooms. So is the dog okay with a closed door separating you? So like if you're in an apartment and you have a bedroom and a main room, then close the door, put the dog in the bedroom, leave you in the main room, and you can really increase like time that way while you're not just sitting outside in the cold. Another thing you can do is find a comfortable place. So if you like crate train, for instance, this is getting into separation anxiety.
I know, I didn't want to
This
get
is
into
barking.
it.
Okay, future video, separation anxiety. We'll hopefully this is just a teaser. There's more to come there, but yeah. Okay, stay tuned for that. But
we'll just break it down and say crate training.
crate training.
If you do it right, it should help.
Yeah. Okay, what's another cause of barking? I'm trying to think. Should we touch on a walk? When your dog like barking on a walk.
Oh, like reactivity?
Yeah.
Yes, that's reactivity.
That's reactivity. And this is not a video on reactivity. This
Yeah.
is just when they're barking. Purely working on the barking.
I mean, I would avoid triggers.
Yeah. Break the habit first.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't even go as far as to say avoid triggers. Create distance.
Well, that's what I mean.
Okay. But
But,
you're not
like,
avoiding them.
You kind of are.
Well, that's true. If a dog is walking
Like,
straight
say,
at
if
you.
if you see a dog come in or person or whatever their trigger is, just turn around.
Yeah.
Give them treats.
Definitely. So yeah, if somebody's coming close to you, then try to avoid them. But you can literally take them to like a park where you know dogs go and just park really far away.
Yeah.
Where the dog is like gonna see the other dogs but not be so close that they do bark, and just reward heavily. And don't rush. Some people will be like, my dog's not barking, I'm gonna go up to the park and go closer to the dog. No, stop where you're successful.
Well, some people bring their dog to the dog park and then their dog barks in the car the entire time.
No. So bad.
We've made that mistake
We have
before.
done this. We're talking about ourselves.
Yes.
We're not like judging people. We've learned from our mistakes. So But yeah, going to places and just like making the distance slower and slower. And what you don't want to do is get so like if there's a dog here and you're here and the dog is not barking here, but it is barking here, stay here. Stay here. Don't go here and then correct the dog for barking. What you want to do is reward where they're not barking, then move this far forward while they're not barking,
I can't even tell.
and slowly inch it up to that point. Don't go to their breaking point. That's a common mistake people make. They're like, oh, my dog's succeeding, let's make them fail. Don't push them to fail. Then, so that's just reactivity barking. I will say we took River out today, and we have this, like, we use Farmina, like the dog food, as treats, because the dogs really like it.
And you can feed lots of it.
And you can feed, yeah, so you can, like, literally use it as a meal. And he didn't want it. He wanted to work for a toy. So you might bring a toy with you on walks, and try that out. Like, work with your dog. I've seen so many people with play-motivated dogs, and they cannot do it. They will only use food, because they always see videos of people. They're like, no. In the video I watched, people were using food, and I'm like, yes, but your dog wants a toy. Use the toy.
And if your dog doesn't want a toy and doesn't want food, find what they do like. They might really like to sniff the grass. Use that as a reward.
Yeah.
Put it on cue.
And if your dog usually does like food, but they're not taking food, move further from the trigger. Even if they're not barking, move further back to where they can take food. If that is their usual reinforcer.
These dogs are so chilled out.
They are so chilled out. They love it when we'll just sit and talk. Moxie, you are both impressing me and letting me... She's been barking nonstop.
Yeah, usually she barks, like, constantly.
Should I go, like, open the front door?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. Oh!
She knocked on the door and she's quiet. Good girl. Good girl, come here. Good girl, Moxie. Good girl. Come on. Oh, honey. Oh, my goodness. Come here. Come here. She's so quiet. She's so quiet.
Oh, boy.
She's
what dark
so
magic is this?
She's so quiet.
She's so quiet. What is going on? The other dogs are gonna come back soon. Okay, so clearly for he's a good boy. Nice kiss. Thank you for the kisses. Now I don't even know what I was gonna say. Rebel was too cute. Oh, she's thinking about it. Woof. By the way, we don't recommend trying to trigger your dogs.
She's so cute.
I mean, you kind of can. Like, if your dog barks at the door when people knock, then you can knock once, give a treat, knock twice, give a treat.
Right, but if you want to cue the barking, like...
We didn't even talk about putting it on cue.
Yeah, you can put it on cue, say speak, get them to bark. Yeah, do you want to bark?
Yeah, some dogs, if it becomes, like, a trick, then they won't. This is a dangerous game. Because I know that if Betsy was taught to bark on cue, it would make her bark more. Because she's always asking for snacks. So she would offer it. She'd be like, I'm barking. It's true. Do you want to get my snacks?
She would be barking for food.
But for some dogs, and that's mainly because we trained her using shaping, I think. You warned me.
Also she's like, you know, her breed.
Her breed. Yeah, that's another big cause. But yes, for some other dogs, if you put barking on cue and they only get it when they get a treat, then they will bark less for no reason because they're like, I wasn't asked to do that. And then, of course, quiet on cue is a good one. You can literally just tell your dog, like, shh, or something. Give them a cue, and that means quiet or calm. Or you can cue them something completely unrelated, like lie down. And when they start barking, you can lie down. And when their mind thinks of that, then when they stop barking, you can treat, or you can say, shh, treat.
Yeah. The treat is to get them to actually stop until they learn.
Yeah.
Because some people assume because you say quiet or shh, that your dog will do it.
Yeah, like
and that's not the case.
If you yell shut up, the dog will understand it better than if you just say it or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, oh good, mom barked.
But
or
yeah,
sometimes they get so scared that they freeze, or
you have to teach them what it means.
yeah, just tell them what it means.
Yeah.
And what I found about, because some dogs actually do respond, if you yell shut up at them, they will stop barking. But it doesn't stop it in the future, is something I've noticed.
Yeah.
Because they've learned if I get yelled at, there's going to be a consequence, but then the next time there's a trigger, boom, they bark again.
Yep.
So, even if it does work for you, I do recommend trying something else just to, like, prevent it in the future.
And you don't want your dog to be afraid of you.
Yeah.
If you're punishing them or yelling at them, scaring them.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I'll add is that, like, if Moxie was barking, even if you want to go with the yell method, which lots of people do, you wouldn't want to yell, Moxie, shut up! Because then you're putting her name as a negative, and whenever I say Moxie, I want her to, oh, hi, baby! I want her to think positive things, so that when I'm calling her by her name, then she's like, oh, that's a good thing. Yeah. So just a little small note there. That's all I have to say on barking. I feel like we're probably missing some stuff, though.
Well, we haven't gotten her to bark yet.
Yeah, I know. We've run out of things to say.
Maybe I can get Revel to bark, but he's pretty chilled out right now.
I bet he would. He knows it on cue.
Yeah.
Good boy.
He will, but I have to amp him up first because he's still learning it.
Well, let's see.
Hey, bud.
Come here. Come here. Ready? Ready? You ready? Go. Go. You good. Yeah. Good boy. Go.
Yeah, he's
trying. He's trying.
Go.
You're just coughing.
Come on. Good boy. Woof. Now. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good boy.
Woof. Good job. Yeah, she's still not.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I have.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna pause.
Oh. A little whine. A little howl. I think she just wants to leave the room, honestly.
I think so.
Oh, baby.
Thank you.
So we're gonna take the camera to the front door, and then see if she will bark then. Moxie! Good girl. Good girl. Now I would give her a treat, but she's very picky about treats, so I'm just petting her. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Let's see what happens.
I heard you.
She did bark when you left.
Should I go get in the mail?
Good job, Moxie. So quiet. So quiet. Good girl. You're a good girl. Good.
Bye, Moxie.
Good girl.
Moxie, nothing?
Good
You're
job.
doing great, but
You're doing good.
you're making liars out of us.
Yeah, good girl.
You're doing good.
Yes, you good girl. Good job. She did start to go, she whined a little bit.
Okay. It could partially be that we just put her in a really calm state of mind.
Yeah.
You think it's working?
Oh, you're crazy, Betsy. You're crazy. You're crazy, girl.
Alright, go. Oh, good girl, Moxie.
Moxie, good girl. You stop barking. Good job. You good job. She's like, get me away from these people.
You like to be petted usually.
No, she went to play. Do you want to play?
I like to play. Where are you going? Oh, the big dogs are in the way.
Oh boy.
It's funny, Betsy's usually little, and now she's just like a giant.
Yeah. Moxie! Come here, Moxie. Come here, Moxie. She's like, no. I like McKenna.
Let me get something.
Hold on. Do we have something for you? Maybe a treat? Or a toy? She's like, no, I'm over it. Sit.
I should have gotten her one of her.
Good. Good job. Maybe she does want a treat. I don't even have a treat right now.
A treat.
Do we have a treat for you? You want to sit?
Good
What's
job.
it? That's the biggest
Oh,
treat
yes,
ever.
good girl. She gonna eat it? Yeah. Oop. Oop, it's right here. Oh, she broke it in half.
It's a big piece.
It's a big piece for swallow. It's for you. So, yeah, this would take a long time if they're in the habit of barking.
The problem is she's not being normal whenever we turn on the camera.
Right. But if you have a dog that barks and is in habit of barking,
Yeah.
the dogs are playing over there.
Yeah. And then we didn't even talk about speaking in absolutes when it comes to dog training because it has nothing to do with barking, but let's talk briefly. You heard us say, oh, she loves being pet and she's picky about treats. Those are two absolutes. Oh, this is the play barking, the happy barking we talked about.
Yep. Good girl. See, good girl. Good job. Yeah. Casey? Sit. Good girl. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
And you may see some stress signs because her mom is not here.
Yes, her mom's not here, so that adds stress. But speaking in absolutes is essentially saying that my dog always blanks. They always are picky about food, so then you stop training with food. Always test stuff out. I'm not going to get into all of the things about it. That's a separate video, but that's just something to challenge yourself on whenever you find yourself saying something like that. Like, what about today? Will my dog like this treat today? I don't know. Try it out. Okay, that's probably the longest video we've made thus far. So, should we end it, or do you want to...
No.
Okay. You don't want the video to... Oh, she's asking for pets.
Do you want to play? I don't think she is. I think that she wants, look. She wants, yeah.
Oh, you were touching the doorknob.
She wants to go outside.
Yeah. She might actually need to go potty.
Yeah, we're going to take her out in a
Yeah,
second.
let's take her out. Okay,
But-
have fun training, and watch your dog for cues like that.
Yep, and if they need to go potty and they're barking at you, maybe you should listen to them.
You should listen to them. All right, let's go.